What's up, everybody? It's Jabbar Farrell. Listen, it's another episode. Hey, listen, real estate's a funny game. A lot of times when people are talking to you about real estate and they're trying to get into the game, they think 100% of the commission or money is great, and then they don't close for 30 days. They lock up contracts, they meet with sellers, they don't know what to say, they're nervous, they talk to buyers, and they think that they send something to a buyer, the buyer's going to quickly respond. That's not true. It never happens that way because most cash buyers are busy working on their business. They're not worried about attaining more assets. They want to because it's a goal, that's how they made their money. But let's say someone like my friend Jack, who owns, let's say 200 plus units, probably up to 2,000 units by now, but let's just say 1,000 plus units. He's busy dealing with maintenance, contractors, lenders, refinance people. He's checking the rates, he's watching the news, he's making sure that he can maximize his return on his investment. So when you text or call or email him and he does not recognize your name or number because you Googled him, you looked him up, and you're like, oh man, he's definitely going to buy this deal. He's not, because he doesn't know, like, or trust you. And how many times do you think he got a phone call for someone trying to scam him and get over on him and say, yeah, I'm going to make 50 grand on this deal, I'm gonna sell it to Jack, and he's going, nah, I'm good. And what you don't realize is most of these guys are not trying to overpay, or when they run their numbers, they're trying to make sure that it's a big win because they've already owned 2,000 units. So it's not even about the money anymore. It's about the return and how much they can maximize that return. So if you think you're gonna sell them a property that you locked up for, let's say, 45,000 hours, 55,000 for 155, not gonna happen. Because they're going to run their numbers and they're going to say, well, I need it at a definite 65 LTV, not 70, or maybe a 60 LTV, while you're calling happy-go-lucky, like, yeah, they're going to look at this deal, and they don't. And then you go, yeah, man, he didn't answer my calls. He didn't answer my emails. He didn't answer my text messages. Man, I've been calling. Because he doesn't know, like, and trust you, and you've never done a deal. You never built the relationship. You've never sold one of his properties. You never got him to buy a property from you. That's where Jabbar comes in. That's where workwithbar.com comes in. Because guess what? 90% of the people who buy real estate on any level know who I am, know, like, and trust me, because I'm not calling them to get over. I'm not calling them, sometimes I'm just calling them to talk about sports, something I see that I know they're interested in, something I learned that I can share with them, and I'll be like, yo, did you notice this article? And I send the YouTube video. Sometimes I'm just checking in to make sure they're okay. Because what you're thinking of is yourself. And most people are selfish. 99.9% of the world is selfish. Only thing they think about themselves. I get people to call me about a deal and then want me to sell the deal but not make as much as them. And it doesn't make sense to me. So you call me because you couldn't sell the deal. I can close the deal. I got a buyer, but you want me to accept this amount of money. We partners. You got the seller, I got the buyer. Let's do partnership. 50-50. But what most people think is, man, I gotta get rich off every deal you talk. That's not true. And they never think about Walmart. They never think about Amazon. They never think about all the people that they listen to and watch on YouTube, why they have affiliates, why they have partners, why they give 10% of their business to partners, because now they don't have to think about that side of the business, because that partner who's getting 10% or 50% of the transactions he's doing is going to work harder than you, because now he's building this side of the business and you can concentrate on this side. You want to be an operator. You don't want to be the person that's working on your business or in your business. You want to have sales reps. You want to have accountants, financial advisors, consultants, someone who comes and talks to you every day or every week and say, hey, here's how we can make improvements. Because if you're the only one running your business, then you're the only one who's going to catch the failures. You can't blame anybody but yourself. And when your bills come and you can't pay them because you got 100% of zero or nothing, then you start to realize, like, damn, why didn't I build a team? And guess what? The team got to trust you. Because if you walk into the room and you say, yeah, I'm the best there ever was and ever is, you got to back that up. You got to have testimonials. You have to have other people that when they see you, they know, like, and trust you, and they go, damn, that's Jabbar. That's Jabbar Fairweather. Yo, that's the man, the myth, the legend. I've been called that a few times. And guess what? Over these past 25 plus years, I've proved it over and over again. I'm not trying to make the most money. I'm not trying to be the richest person. I'm not trying to be the person that's everybody knows. I'm using him. What I'm trying to be is that person that like, and trust, and know that when you give me a deal, or we work together, that it's going to close, and that I'm going to do everything in my power. I can't guarantee 100% because that's just crazy, because of course you have bad title. You have situations where the lender, interest rates, anything can happen and change. But here's what it is. I'm always going to be honest with you. And I tell people all the time, don't make me lie to you. They be like, oh, Bark, I know you sell this for 150. And I'm like, no, the numbers only make sense at 125. No, but I was running, because what happens is a lot of people work on the need factor. I need to make 50 grand on this deal, because if I make 50, I can buy this car I want. If I make 50, I can go on this vacation, pay off this debts. That's not how real estate works. It's numbers. What is appraised value? What's the ARV? What the investor wants as a return, and what the seller wants. Sellers might be like, yo, I need 75 on a property that you need to lock up at 65, and you can only sell it to 75 to another investor, because that's the only time it makes sense, because on the refi, which is sometimes 70% of the LTV, sometimes 80%, you might get crazy lucky and get 85%. But normally it's between 75 and 80% of the value of the property that a lender will let you refi. So you got to work with that. So you always got to lock the property up at 65 or less, sometimes 70, because of course in better neighborhoods, people are not going to accept your first offer. But that's the thing about this business. It's a relationship business. It's about relationships. So when you call an investor or you call somebody and your name doesn't ring a bell to them, they be like, oh, okay, yeah. Then they don't answer. This is the best advice I can give you. The world is not about you. Your business is about proving your value to the investor or the person that you want to work with. And then when they see your phone number, their brain says, yeah, I like that person. Their brain says, yeah, I can fuck with him. Jabbar goes to the gym every morning. Well, four times a week is my average over the last year. But my goal is 5. Jabbar watches sports. Most sports, he listens and learns about AI. LLM. He's doing and using Claude Fable 5 to rebuild websites and software. PhillyCompPro.com. Like, he's constantly doing something. I did a website for an alcohol company, Grand 410. I did one for a sauce company. I'm doing different things to keep my mind sharp. I'm learning about peptides. I'm learning about these things. MyQualitySupply.com. I'm doing things for the future, so that when you call me and you want to ask me a question about a development, you want to ask me about software, you want to ask me about AI, you want to ask me about design, a website, a logo, your brand. I did for 460 acres, I did a business plan, cap table. I did the investors deck for VCs. I'm constantly learning about private equity and putting private equity deals together. I have a friend that had a term sheet for $150 million. I've had deals sent to me from Vegas that were $1 billion build out hotels plus. But the whole thing about it is, it's here. Don't need to use it all the time, because most of the people I talk to are at the level of flipping houses, buying multifamilies, apartment buildings, 100 units or down. They're not on 460 acres, but I do have friends that I talk to, like John, about 460 acres. People that fund these projects, like Solomon, who makes sure does on average a $10 or $15 million deal that he's helping do raise for somebody on CapEx and equity splits. And I'm sitting there going, man, I can make that phone call. And when I call these people, like my VC guy who's going to sell a company for billions of dollars, and he's talking about where he's at and what's going on, and I go, listen, I'm going, all right, I got this in my head. I know who to call. And most of the times when you call me, I have that second person who does movies, the #1 videos on Tubi, my friend Tyreek. He does videos. He's been doing it for years. I've known him for years, over 10 years. Cannabis, I have the guy to help the lobbyists who helped get the laws passed for cannabis in Jersey and Pennsylvania, who has his own farms. I get phone calls like that. Guess what? Get on my cap table. Get on my contact list. But you don't have to. But over the last 25 years, you can see where I've been and what I've been doing. I never try to be perfect. If I get the idea to do something, I just go and do it, like this video right now. I was thinking about it. I was like, damn, I'm working on upgrading a website of My Quality Supply. And I was like, damn, let me do the Google Analytics and see what's going on, the bounce rate and the click-through rate and the average customer value. And I'm like, damn, I should share some of this knowledge with you guys. Have a blessed, wonderful day. Workwithbar.com, and hit me up if you got a deal. Let's make it happen, guys.